Welcome back to my Keep Up channel. Princess Kate looks thrilled to catch up with old pal Roger Federer as he's honored at Wimbledon, but his wife Mirka doesn't look quite as happy. Kate Middleton put on a friendly display as she welcomed close pal Roger Federer to a special ceremony at Wimbledon today, but there was one person who did not appear thrilled by their warm greeting. The Princess of Wales, 41, was among those enthusiastically applauding as Federer, 41, was honored for his stellar sporting achievements on centre court today following his retirement from the game last year. Meanwhile, his wife Mirka watched on and appeared less than impressed by the pair's friendly display of affection in the royal box, where other guests included Prince Michael of Kent and his daughter Lady Gabriella and former Prime Minister David Cameron and his wife Samantha. As the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club's patron and a sports fan, the Princess of Wales is a regular of the royal box and has cultivated a strong bond with the 8-times Wimbledon winner. She even broke royal protocol in 2017 and planted 3 kisses on his cheeks as she congratulated the sportsman for winning the tournament for the 8th time, while the Prince of Wales and Federer's wife Mirka watched on. The playful friendship extends beyond the court, with Kate and Roger working on several projects together and both starring in a video highlighting the work of ball boys and girls in late June, where the royal put the tennis star through his paces. In addition to catching up Roger, the royal was also seen chatting with Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, the British Iranian woman who spent 6 years in prison in Iran, after being arrested in 2016 at Tehran airport. The mother of one, who had been visiting family in the country, was charged with trying to overthrow the regime, which she has always denied. She finally returned to the UK in 2022 after a campaign by her husband Richard and a team of lawyers. Nazanin previously spoke about how tennis helped her cope in prison, telling Andy Murray during an episode of the Today program that his Wimbledon victory in 2016 helped her to bond with other inmates. She said she was so inspired by Andy's victory that she taught other inmates his name, which helped forge a connection and made her feel closer to home. The princess, who has been patron of the All England Lawn Tennis Club since 2016, looked elegant as she arrived at the All England Club wearing a smart pleated white skirt and mint £1,950 Balmain blazer. At today's event, she wore her hair in loose waves across her shoulders and opted for neutral makeup, with a sweep of eyeliner and a touch of blusher. Meanwhile, she kept her jewelry simple, opting for a simple pearl bracelet and £72 chunky not Baroque pearl earrings by Shyla. Kate's choice of Balmain for her outfit marked the first time the royal has been seen in the French label. Celebrity fans of the fashion house include Cara Delevingne and Kim Kardashian. Meanwhile, Balmain's creative director previously said he would love to dress Kate's sister-in-law Meghan Markle, and described her as confident, sexy, and respectful. The princess opted to pair the trendy blazer, which features white button detailing and white lapels, with a white midi skirt and matching accessories. As play began on center court, Kate was seated in the royal box, where she was greeted by a standing ovation. At 1 p.m., Federer was joined by his wife Mirka on court and fans were treated to a special video montage of his best moments through the years. The couple then stayed for the day's play as special guests in the royal box. The tennis player has become a friend of the royals and the Middletons in the past few years, even attending the wedding of Kate's sister Pippa to James Matthews in 2017. Kate has long been a good friend of Federer, and has made a number of appearances with him over the years. As a fan, Kate has been seen cheering Roger on several times throughout his career as he battled it out on the court at Wimbledon. In 2017, Kate shocked fans by breaking royal protocol when she planted 3 kisses on Federer's cheeks to congratulate him on winning Wimbledon for the 8th time. She also offered him his unwavering support during tough time, including in 2019 after he lost against Novak Djokovic. Presenting Federer with the runner-up trophy following an intense game that lasted almost 5 hours, Kate had friendly words of consolation for the tennis ace, and gently patted him on the arm as the world watched on. 5 years earlier, the Princess of Wales put on a particularly animated display as Federer took on Novak Djokovic in a nail-biting final that was eventually won by the Serbian, making his the world's #1 in front of Rafael Nadal and Federer, who was bumped to third place. Kate and Federer were due to take part in a charity tennis day last year, but the princess pulled out following the Queen's funeral. He has also visited the Waleses at their home at Amber Hall in Norfolk, and has given Prince George a private tennis lesson. And just last week, the royals released a video in which Kate played tennis against Roger. In a clip shared last week by Kensington Palace on their YouTube channel, the pair played a doubles match on No-3 court, where Federer won his first match on the way to taking his first Wimbledon title 20 years ago, to highlight the work of ball boys and girls at the tournament. Kate managed to get a shot past the Swiss star, prompting him to exclaim, "I think it was on the line." "Amazing. Any tips on my serve at the same time would be very helpful," she said. But Federer replied only with a compliment, saying, "The serve looks good." In one cheeky moment, Federer even scolds the princess for catching a ball instead of letting it bounce. He said, "Are you allowed to do that? At Australia, they catch it, but in Wimbledon, they don't." What's more, the princess also took the opportunity to try to get some sneaky coaching advice from the former world no one. "Any tips on my serve at the same time would be very helpful," Kate said. But Federer replied only with a compliment, saying, "The serve looks good." Keen tennis player Kate said, "Wimbledon is renowned for its amazingly professional ball boys and ball girls. The amount of work it takes, it's incredible to see it behind the scenes." She then said, "It's so good to see you, Roger," before walking onto the court for their match. Meanwhile, Roger has been married to Mirka, a former WTA tennis player, since 2009. They met while they were both competing for Switzerland in the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Mirka retired from the tour in 2002 because of a foot injury and has since worked as Federer's public relations manager. Their relationship is said to be one of the most enduring in the temptation-filled world of competitive sport. In an interview, Federer once said of Mirka, "As long as I wake up in the morning and she is next to me, that's all that matters." It's unlikely today will be Kate's only visit to the tournament this year. The royal is known to be an avid fan. The family even have a court at their country home, Amber Hall, in Norfolk. Last year, she and Prince William were joined by their son Prince George for the event. The princess has incorporated tennis into a number of royal engagements, even joining Emma Raducanu on court for a homecoming victory match following her US Open win last year. Rain is forecast for much of the day Tuesday in southwest London. Matches began on most courts shortly after 11 a.m. at the All England Club, but the tarps came out as the rain came down about an hour later. Kate joined former tennis player Laura Robson to watch a little of the action ahead of the ceremony at 1 p.m., sitting in the crowd to watch Katie Boulter playing against Daria Saville. Kate managed to watch a little of Katie, who won her first WTA title at Nottingham and reached the semi-finals at Surbiton, before rain called off play. The break comes at a good time for the Brit, who is 6-5 down in the first. Elsewhere this morning, Italian tennis star Jannik Sinner made a surprising fashion choice for his first-round Wimbledon clash with Francisco Cerundolo. Despite the strict rule book that regulates what players can wear or carry out onto the court, the 21-year-old stepped out onto center court carrying a custom Gucci duffel bag. It featured the signature GG monogram with a green and red web stripe with his initials marked against where the straps connect to the brown leather. Sinner's bold fashion choice was the first time that a luxury bag has made an appearance on center court at Wimbledon. As well as Boulter, 8 other British players will be taking to the courts on Tuesday. Spectators on center court will later watch the Battle of the Brits begins between Andy Murray and Ryan Peniston. On court 1, Cameron Norrie will face Tomas Mikak from the Czech Republic. British colleagues Heather Watson, George Lofhagen, Arthur Ferry and Sonny Cardle will also play, while Dan Evans continues his match after it was suspended on Monday. Wimbledon saw the highest attendance on day 1 of the tournament since 2015, organizers said. According to the All England Lawn Tennis Club, AELTC, 42,815 people attended the championships on Monday, which means there were over 6,000 more spectators than last year when 36,603 people visited. Michelle Dite, operations director for AELTC, told reporters that 11,500 people gained entry to the grounds via the queue on Monday. She added, "We had our highest attendance at the championships on day one since 2015 yesterday." On Tuesday morning, fans in the queue were optimistic about their chances of watching the second day of the tournament after holdups at security frustrated spectators on Monday. On day one, some spectators who had visited Wimbledon in previous years said the queue was the worst they had seen. Organizers said extra checks put in place over concerns about protests were to blame for the slow queue. The championships will run until July 16. Bring back Sue Barker. Tennis fans slam truly dreadful new format of BBC's Today at Wimbledon with Kaza Alum. During Wimbledon fortnight, the BBC's popular highlights show is a staple for tennis fans who can't watch the live action during the day. However, this year's revamped version from SW19, which scraps the familiar studio overlooking center court in favor of al fresco reporting, has already been dubbed dreadful to watch. The nightly evening show's long-term presenter Claire Balding is now fronting the main action, after veteran host Sue Barker retired last year. Monday night's first episode of Today at Wimbledon saw new presenter Kaza Alum taking the helm alone, with the program featuring mostly pre-recorded analysis with experts captured earlier in the day and many much-loved faces absent from the coverage. One armchair critic declared the show was truly dreadful to watch. More bizarre ideas from the BBC. Sort it and bring the traditional format back. Another said they missed Wimbledon's familiar faces, writing, "Bring back Sue Barker and John McEnroe for highlights show in the evening. Dull as dishwater without McEnroe." Another agreed, writing, "What a letdown. At least the theme song remains." One tennis fan wrote, "Not enjoying the format change of #Today at Wimbledon at all. I know things change, but it feels completely impersonal and clinical now. No behind-the-scenes atmosphere, no chatty analysis, no human connection." And another added, "Completely agree, no sat around a table discussing the day's play live in the evening. I'm all for trying something new, and accept that presenters change, but this was not good. Much preferred the old format." Clinical is a good description. Alum has previously presented a Radio 4 programs on one of the sport's most iconic stars, Arthur Ashe, and also takes an interest in cricket, rugby, and athletics. But fans admitted they were missing Sue Barker and others not seen at Wimbledon this year, including Boris Becker, who was released from prison in December after serving 8 months of his 2.5-year sentence for bankruptcy fraud. One wrote, "It's a joke that's gone too far, bring back Boris Becker, Sue Barker, and keep Annabel Croft." Meanwhile, Barker appears to have found a new way to spend her summers. The presenter, who presented the BBC's coverage of the tournament for 30 years, was spotted driving a top-of-the-range Porsche 911 Turbo S in the Cotswolds last weekend. Ms. Barker, 67, was pictured climbing into the vehicle, which costs upwards of £180,000 and has a top speed of 205 miles per hour, before donning a pair of sunglasses and driving off. Ms. Barker was paid a 6-figure salary of up to £189,999, according to last year's BBC High Earners list. She stepped down from presenting Wimbledon coverage last summer after 30 years, receiving an emotional farewell from tennis stars Tim Henman, Andy Murray, and Roger Federer. Barker has revealed she didn't want to get slowly phased out of presenting Wimbledon. Speaking to BBC's Women's Hour earlier this year, the presenter said she wanted to be at the top job forever, adding, "I wanted to do Wimbledon on my own terms. BBC Sport offered me a new contract, but I knew with age and time and with everything that's happening around that over the next few years I would get phased out slightly." New presenter Kaza Alum was part of the team on the BBC's coverage of the Commonwealth Games as well as the London Marathon and has also been at the helm of shows on the BBC's Asian Network and 5 Live. Elsewhere, the filmmaker runs his own YouTube channel, Kaza Vision, which explores issues stemming from the climate crisis, and he is passionate about protecting the environment. By summer 2021, he had been enlisted as a presenter of the 100 and also launched a podcast with Davis Cup champion Dominic Inglo, The Real Tennis Pod, where he discusses one of his greatest passions. If Alum wasn't busy enough, he also travels around the world making short documentaries for his YouTube channel, Causavision. In particular, the environmentalist, who also spoke at COP27, uses the channel to explore communities who have been affected by climate change in some way. One video sees Alum travel to the community of Sunamganj in Bangladesh, which is flooded for 8 months out of the year, to see how the people living there coped with the extreme weather conditions. In another, Alum traveled around Europe where he reported on the wildfires raging through forests across the continent. Recently, Alum teamed up with journalist Matthew Paris to profile tennis icon Arthur Ashe, who was the first black man to win Wimbledon and campaigned for social justice off the court. In his personal life, Alum appears to enjoy traveling and has taken recent trips to European destinations such as Ibiza and Rome. When he's at home, he hangs out with his dog, Rafa, who may well have been named after tennis star Rafa Nadal. Writing on Instagram about his new presenting gig last night, Alum said, "Can't wait to roam around SW19, watch tennis, analyze the matches with the ex-players, and just have a bit of fun making some great TV." Source: dailymail.co.uk. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.